Welcome back to Tokyo. Today, we will spend the day watch hunting in Ginza. Ginza is generally considered the luxury hub of Tokyo, where you will find all the usual big names. But that's obviously not why we're here. We're here for these 7 amazing one second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 amazing vintage watch stores that make Ginza arguably the best watch neighborhood in Tokyo, perhaps even better than Nakano Broadway. But before we start, we need to address the elephant in the room. Ginza is the home of Seiko, Japan's most important watch brand. Just outside of the subway, in the middle of Ginza's busiest intersection, you will find their flagship, Seiko House, an amazing store that focuses on the high-end part of the brand, Grand Seiko and Credor mostly. The history of this shop runs all the way back to 1894, when it was purchased by Seiko's founder Kintaro Hattori. The majestic Seiko clock tower, one of Seiko's symbols, was built during renovations in 1932 and has stood unchanged ever since. Inside, they got the new Credor Quan, a sports Credor that features a beautiful porcelain dial, and also the angular Genta design locomotive. Both interesting, but not for me. Next door, you have Seiko Dream Square, a modern tower with all the latest Seiko branded watches. Further down the road, there is also the Grand Seiko Boutique flagship. If you're a Grand Seiko fan, make sure to visit this specific store, because they get the good stuff. It is the Grand Seiko Boutique that gets the most limited editions worldwide. Okay, now that the elephant is out of the room, it's time for vintage watches. First up, the legendary Shellman, an institution in the Tokyo watch scene. To walk inside their Ginza shop is like entering a museum. First established in 1971, they generally focus on pre-60 pieces, at what I would say are fair prices. Today, I'm particularly into their Longines. Those 2 yellow gold pieces on the right are stunning, but they have so many to choose from. They also have a chronometer Movado, just like the one I bought at Jackrod in the last episode. Actually, quite a few Movados on offer. Always great bargains. Here are a few cool chronographs from the likes of Minerva. And on the back wall, they also have some Rolex bubble backs. These little watches were super hot a few years ago, but prices have cooled down a bit post-pandemic. Although, I feel like they're on the rise again. They also have the usual Rolex models, Datejust, Day-Date, etc. A little secret for you. Upstairs, they have a high-end section with pieces like this stunning Patek. The 533 is charming, but the subdial hands have been replaced. The Tasti Tondi, reference 1463, is one of the most important chronographs in history. It is beautiful and all original, but I cannot afford it. Just a short walk down the road from Shellman, you will find Moonphase, a minimalist yet luxurious boutique that focuses on both vintage and modern luxury Swiss brands. The first floor is almost entirely dedicated to Rolex. They pretty much have every model you could desire. GMTs, Sabs, Explorers, Milgaus. They even had this beautiful vintage Daytona. A very good selection of Datejust, and a few more bubble backs. On the first floor, there is also a little corner dedicated to other brands, like you can see here. But for the real stuff, you gotta ask a store attendant to take you upstairs. Here are some stunning Patek Moonphase pieces and a Frank Muller tourbillon. Frank Muller is actually making a little comeback, so it was nice to see a few for sale here. Around the corner from Moonphase, we have one of my personal favorites. Located in an assuming basement away from the main street, Watch City Eye is simply one of the best places in the world for vintage Japanese watches. They have a good selection of sports models, like the iconic Pogue, Seiko's Space Watch, and some more chronographs. This is a bit rarer. This is a 62 Mas, the first real diver from Seiko and a watch I've always desired. However, it's always hard to find one in really good condition. Seiko is probably the best value Japanese watch you can get, particularly these 44KS models. They're an important piece of Seiko history. Watch CTI is also a great place to pick a vintage Grand Seiko if you so desire. If you're on a budget, they have cool-looking quartz Seikos or even more interesting vintage Citizens. I think Citizen is really underrated and there are some really cool vintage pieces to be had for very little money. Next, we gotta talk about Okura. Okura is not really on most watch collectors' radar. It is a second-hand luxury store. They got bags, jewelry, and yes, some watches. But I think it is one of Tokyo's best-kept watch secrets. Every time I visit one of their shops, two of which are in Ginza, I find cool stuff. On this occasion, there was this aventurine Langa. I'm a big fan of aventurine dials aesthetically, but I haven't bought one yet. They also had a lot of other Langa models, so take your pick. A good selection of Pateks for every taste. Moonphases, chronos, time only, whatever you want. A stunning Piaget Altiplano, I'm a big fan of these. And if you're traveling with your partner, Okura usually has a dedicated women's section, so make sure to check it out. They got a lot of stores around town, so it should be easy. After Okura comes Ogura. This legendary hole-in-the-wall kind of shop is run by the owner and his wife. Unfortunately, they don't allow filming, but they have a really peculiar selection of pre-70s watches, both Japanese and Swiss. Just make sure you double-check opening times before going, as they don't operate normal commercial hours. If you're into vintage dress watches, Antiqurious is a place you cannot miss. Secluded on the second floor of Ginza 5, a mall not so popular these days, you will find cool pieces like this Ellipse and this curious Longines that I honestly spend too much time considering. Cool, but not for me. And finally, it's time to show you what watch hunting in Tokyo is all about. Located on the remote 7th floor of Hankyu Men's, Vin-Time is my hidden gem. Every time I come here, I buy something, and today is no exception. They have a pretty good Seiko collection, with both sporty and dressier pieces. Here is another 62 Mass. You should know by now I have a thing for this model. Also a decent selection of vintage Grand and King Seikos. If you are looking for an Omega Seamaster from the 60s or 70s, there are plenty of those. Some Longines from the 50s and even 40s, and a good selection of vintage IWC as well. My favorite part of the shop, though, has to be the display case in the middle of the store. This is where they showcase their high-end rare pieces, like this beautiful 18K white gold integrated bracelet Patek Calatrava with a Clou de Paris texture bracelet and case. But next to it, something I've been hunting for a long time, a Corum golden bridge from the 80s, full set and in great condition. One of the most interesting watches ever made. Let me get back to the hotel and I will tell you all about it. On our way back, we actually stumbled upon the Oedo Antique Market, Tokyo's largest outdoor vintage market. I didn't expect to find it today because I thought it was scheduled for another weekend, but this must be a special edition for Golden Week, a week-long national holiday in Japan. Well, if you like antiques, here you will find around 250 dealers selling everything from pottery to fabrics and kimonos. A great place to buy something to bring back home. It's really worth checking it out. You never know what you might find. Okay, this is a full set 1988 18K yellow gold Corum golden bridge, reference 1350-56, one of the coolest watches ever made. It was designed in the 70s by Vincent Calabrese, a self-taught Italian watchmaker that wanted to make the movement the star of his watches. After showcasing his design at the 1977 Geneva International Inventors Show, Vincent partnered up with a smitten René Benoit, the founder of Corum, and in 1980, the Corum Golden Bridge was born. I personally love this watch. It's a subversive statement on what a watch should be. Traditionally, the dial and case represent the watch outwardly, while the movement is hidden within. While here, the watch is the movement, front and center. The dial is absent, and the case is a faceted transparent crystal. There is just nothing else like it. It's not quite the same as skeleton watches, where the movement becomes the dial. With the Golden Bridge, whenever you check the time, you basically only see the movement with the escapement ticking away. It's worth noting that Corum just went through a management buyout, so expect to hear a lot more about them. Thank you for watching the whole video. Make sure to like and subscribe. And here is a preview from our next episode.